Everyone's quiet now. That was easy, wasn't it? Are we good, Ronan? We're live? Awesome. Right. Welcome, everyone, to the first SteamCon 2016 Keynote. I'll just do some introductions. I'm Rich Loxham, the Managing Director at Steamforged Games. We have Matt Hart, the Creative Director. And we also have Alex, we have Bryce, and we have Jamie, our designers for Steamforged, and little Sherwin on the end, our story writer. Who, there you go. Poor Sherwin. Jamie? Okay, so we're just going to give an overview of what's coming up, okay? So, not too many spoilers on this one. Matt's going to talk about our journey and where we've come from, like why we're stood here today with a huge crowd of people. We're going to go forward and look at Season 3 of Guild Ball and actually see some of the new things coming up in the 2017. Organised play, we're going to have a big section on that to actually talk about what's coming up as well to organised play and how we've kind of changed our look and perspective on that. A licensed product, you've seen some upstairs, but we're going to go through our licensing process and now how we're kind of licensing several cool things. Shadow Games, we're going to a little bit on Shadow Games and its introduction, and then a little bit of Dark Souls stuff. Key events of what we'll be attending, and a major announcement as well right at the end of the keynote, obviously, you know.
All right, hi everyone. Which bit? So, as it says up there, I mean, you guys have probably heard this story 1,000 times, or at least the number of podcasts that I've been on, because I try and tell it every single time, but essentially, Rich and I met quite some years ago, and we immediately got on as those instant friendships that form. And what we found is we shared a lot of the same philosophy and the same feeling about games and how games should be made and how companies who make those games should behave. And we had enough hubris to believe that we could do the same thing. Like, we've all sat there and said, hey, you know, this game's we can make a better game than that. And we actually sat down and said, right, we're going to make that game. So we put our heads together and started to work through some ideas that we had. And we had 5 or 6 really strong ideas, one of which was Guild Ball. And Guild Ball was the game that we settled on. And we basically just wanted to make a difference. We never actually went into this with the intention of building a company, building, you know, something that spans the entire globe now, where we have friends from all over the planet coming to come and play games with us this weekend. So it's really quite humbling, and I'm massively appreciative of all of you guys who've traveled to be with us, and it makes me so happy to have seen all of you playing all the games in the tournaments, in the long room, in the casual rooms. It's just been absolutely fantastic. So we're going to carry on doing what we do, which is challenging convention, making games that we believe that we want to play as gamers ourselves. And it's one of the things that's really important for us to show to you, that we actually play our game. We actually play other people's games. We play all the games that we can lay our hands on, because that's important for us as a company to understand what's fun and what isn't fun, so we can actually put it into our products to share with you. We just want to make great games. We just want to make great games. So we demand excellence and innovation in our games. It's like such a buzz statement, but every single one of those designers will nod when I say the next sentence, which is, I am a horrible person. I am a terrible person. I am so mean to them. But we set ourselves very high standards, and we demand excellence from ourselves. And I see myself as part of my role of ensuring that we are hitting those marks. And when we're not, we're very clear with each other about where we're short, and we work out how we need to get to that mark. And when we hit that mark, we celebrate it. So, you know, we keep challenging ourselves. So that's the basis of our strategy. I mean, essentially, all we want to do is make great games for you that we enjoy playing ourselves. We're working on a number of directions, one of which is obviously the licensing part of things. I'm fortunate enough to have a fairly big Rolodex of contacts in the video games industry from my background and my previous career. And obviously, the phone's been ringing quite a bit since Dark Souls. Who knew? Who knew people were interested? But actually, what's more important to us is also developing our own IP. So it's expanding upon Guild Ball. It's looking at other games that we can actually put together and put out there. So one of the things that we wanted to do, and one of the things that's pretty cool about my job is I get the luxury of time to think. And that's quite a simple statement, and yet it means that I can study our industry. I can look at what other companies are working on. I can look at what gamers are playing. I can look at what people are talking about, and I can help to sort of form thesis about where I believe the game market is going and what kind of products people want to actually buy and play. And one of the things that we did recently is put together a survey. So some of the interesting results that came out is we had an overwhelming majority of players ranked gameplay and rules as the most important thing. Now that's over and above the models, it's over and above the story, it's over and above all the other component parts of the game. It's actually the gameplay that's important. And that leads into the next graph, which is we also asked about why do people come to tournaments? Why do you guys come to this weekend? And what's interesting about that is actually winning things was really quite small. It's the top line, I think. The painting side of it is even smaller. It makes me sad, but it's true. What's super important is the two things in the middle, and that is sportsmanship, meeting friends, meeting new friends and old friends and hanging out and just playing games and having fun. So it's massively informative to us as a company about what's important to you guys. So this is just one data point that we got from that survey. So if you did fill that survey, and thank you ever so much, we will be doing more surveys. It's invaluable to us to be able to make the products that that you guys are interested in. I'm going to hand over to Rich because he can do some exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff. Yeah. Okay, 2017. It's beginning. We got a lot of cool things coming. So, kickoff. Obviously, a lot of you have managed to pick a copy up. It's our brand new product we're really excited about. It's going to go in a few details in a second on the slide on it. The Farmers Guild, this is coming up in it, yeah, so we're going to get a view of them. The results of the Butcher's Civil War.
Brisket.
We will find out. New accessories, again, we're going to have a look at some of them. Brand new players for every team. You're not going to see them all today, just so you know that one. And then brand new captains for the Hunters and the Union. Okay, so these are some of the things that are going to be coming up. So kickoff, it's, as Matt was saying, this is probably the first step in sort of the new direction on where we're going as a company. We're so proud of this product. I think it's a fantastic tool to introduce new players to our hobby. And you see from the surveys we did that this is one of the things that you guys want. You want to bring new people into this game and actually really kind of expand the world of Guild Ball to more and more players. It's everything in a box. Matt, you call it the Christmas Day test, don't you? Like it's, you open that set, in 5-10 minutes you're playing the game, and everything's in there. So it's a really kind of super product for us. And me and Matt spent probably about 8 months just thinking about what our starter set is going to look like. We spent a lot of time to actually work out what it's going to look like. And but yeah, it took us like literally about 4 months ago. We really decided on our direction for this product. The pre-assembled models, we think they're stunning. We went over to China and that, and we'll talk a little bit later about that. But we spent a lot of time to make sure we get the quality in those models, and we were really happy with the outcome. And accessibility. Like, this is the product you can crack open and play with your son or your daughter. Like, it's such an easy access product. So it's a big product for us, and I think it's going to really kind of make waves from January onwards to actually get people into our hobby and more people playing the game. There you go, Matt. You can have a fun one.
Ooh. So as you know, the next guild to be coming out in Season 3 in April time will be the Farmers Guild. We've talked a little bit about it, but we thought that you guys come so far that we probably ought to give you a little bit more. So have we got some fire? You haven't seen the next bit. I don't need to say anything. So we've talked a little bit about the farmers, so let's just recap on them. So the farmers bring a brand new way of playing Guild Ball. We focus very much on the core mechanic of a reaper and a planter. The planters are kind of support pieces. They set things up for the Reapers to be super spectacular. So what you have here is a starting team, including a new ball that will come with the team, which is a big pumpkin. Sorry? That is a good question. Do you want to?
That's a nice lead on, like, we go to the next slide, so.
Questions at the end.
Questions at the end. We'll try and cover this stuff, so we're going to cover it. So we went over to China, me and Matt. We kind of spent a week there just going through, several of the factories we'd been investigating for the quality of what we can get out. And you can see, like, some of the highlight on this picture, some of the techniques we learned over there. Like, Matt, you did quite a lot of work with the sculptors that we took over.
Yeah, so we took the entire sculpting team over to work with the Chinese factories and really drill into understanding what the process is. And ostensibly, we were looking, at the kickoff models, and the kickoff models were derived from the same sculpts that we use for the metal miniatures. The actual production process is very different, and I won't go into too much detail, but it's all about the angles in which the model is released from the mold. It's called a drafting angle, and you can actually get an incredible amount of sharp detail in the right lines, but in the other lines, you've got no chance. But what we actually discovered as we were over there is there are techniques that you can put into your sculpting, which enables you to really find some stark relief and sharp edges. On top of that, we were sitting in a meeting with one particular factory, and this is where Rich and I get on really well, is we both instinctively click into things and we know what each other is thinking an awful lot of the times. And there was one moment where they brought a plastic out that we looked at and just looked at each other and went, yeah, this is next level. And it was a new type of PVC that this factory was working on. It had the crispest detail that we've seen in PVC. And coupled that with the new techniques that we were using for the sculpting meant that the quality of the miniatures that we were seeing in the kickoff set, which, by the way, blew me away the first time I saw it, we're actually pushing that another 2 or 3 steps higher in terms of the level of detail.
So, we can announce today that this set is going to be coming around April time. It is going to be pre-assembled PVC, so it's going to come in a box. It's going to come with the health tiles. It's going to come with the tokens in there as die-cut sheet. So it's going to be all in a box, basically. So it's quite a new style of guild that's going to be coming.
Cool. So... None of that's important. What's important is talking about the character. So Harrow is a really good example of a planter model. He's very much a utility support piece. He hangs back. He can put out harvest tokens with his look busy ability, but also he's triggering sow the seeds each time. Very low on, so it's on the 2. A momentous result to put out more harvest markers. And these harvest markers, as you know, fuel the abilities of the Reapers. So it's really important for Harrow to get an early activation, get some harvest markers down for the Flash guys to come along and...
Yeah, the Reapers.
The Reapers.
So here's Bushel. Just cameras up straight away. So yeah, the Bushel, she's one of the Reapers. So you can see on the right the cabbage plant and punt, the interactions she has to make herself a super striker, with these harvest markers and actually reaping these up and using them to actually get benefits. I'm Open's a fantastic new ability. It's one of my favorites I've seen up to now from the farmers. So I think she's going to have a lot of flexibility and a striker in a really unique way that the farmer's going to access that kind of really striking power to get your goals in the net.
So we had a little thing running. Ooh. We had a little thing running. So let me tell you a couple of stats. I'll tell you that stat in a minute. Butcher's Civil War. How many people think we had 1,000 games played in the Butcher's Civil War? 2,000. 3,000. 5,000 games decided the Butcher's Civil War. It's unbelievable that we had that many games played and registered. And in a very English tradition, we didn't want to have a supermajority. No, that's for other countries. What we wanted to have was something that was very, very close, like we almost faked it, but we didn't. It's so close. The results are in. Brisket. Go Brisket. Oh, we'll see. So one of the jobs that I need to do with Sherwin is put the finishing touches to the story. Now we know which way it's going to go. So that's going to come out next week. What it also does mean is Ox is back. So he's going to be released in February. You're going to have to wait until the Season 3 book comes out to find out how that all came about. But this is a direct result of the results of the Butcher's Civil War. And I couldn't be happier because I love Ox. So thank you very much for winning, Team Brisket. And commiserations, Philip. But we got Ox back! Go on, Rich.
Yeah. So this is something we mentioned way back at the start of Season 2, and it has been development, and again, going to China, we've started to really get this nailed down. So the terrain kit is coming. The first one we've actually produced is based around the kickoff set, so you're going to see the Brewer and Mason ones, and you'll probably see some more relating to other teams, come out throughout the year. So this is the first one we're kind of showing today. The next slide is quite an important one, because people have been asking for about 2 years on this. So yeah, goalposts are coming, so they're going to be released this year. We are super happy again. Russ has actually knocked these out of the park. The designs are awesome.
Good job, Russ.
Good job. There he is. Well done, Russ.
He loves it. He loves it.
New players, Matt.
So yeah, as Rich said a little bit earlier, a brand new model for every team. Let's spoil a couple. Which ones do you want to talk about first? Hag? So Hag is something that the Fisherman team really have just not had up until this point. It's a utility support piece that makes them faster and more nimble. Oh God, I'm going to spoil an ability. She has an ability called Fisher's Reel, which basically is a repositioning for friendly models, or enemy models, I believe. Yeah. Brain Pan and Memory are going to blow your minds when you see how they can be played. They are a separate model, so there's 2 bases involved in that, and they bring really unusual movement tricks and shenanigans that you would expect from the Morticians. No, in a very, very different way. And they are a major goal threat, I think I could say. Yeah, okay. So Memory is the small puppet controlled by Brain Pan.
Who wants a shibby bit of them?
New season captain. This is a Union captain. We thought that the Union needed a goal-scoring striker-style captain to complement Blackheart's trickiness and Veteran Rage's angriness. And yeah, new captain coming out next year for the Union, so you Union players are going to have 3 captains to choose from next year. On top of all of that, and then building on from what we talked about with the survey, get a haircut, Jack. We're going to be aiming for 3 types of organised play next year. One of the things that we've noticed this year, obviously we've got the World Championships, which is happening tomorrow. Good luck to everyone who's playing it. Commiserations to everyone who missed out narrowly over the qualifiers. Really excited to see that. That's going to be in a knockout format, so you're going to have big Niagaras to get your way through that. So that's not swearing, is it?
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I was all right with that, yeah. It meant balls for you Americans out there. We're going to be focusing an awful lot on the kind of events that... Sorry, Jess. We're going to be focusing on the kind of events that actually encourage people to play the game. Just play the game for the love of it. So we're looking at growth leagues. We're looking at new products when they come out, having an actual launch kit that works for them. So it's easier for you guys in your stores to actually put together events for people to come in and feel like they're not going to get wrecked by, the top tier players. We're obviously going to support the top tier players, and those guys are super competitive and want to play in very hardline tournaments and test themselves against the other best players. So that's still going to be in there as well. And growth leagues are the kind of things that just work down at the club, so you can get started with a small 3 or 4 man team, build it up slowly, get it painted, and before you know it, you've got a fully formed team that you've played half a dozen games with, and you can start thinking about going to an event. So we're working incredibly hard to expand our organised play for 2017 in order to capture all aspects of the community and give you all something to play for on the Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, licensed products. So you've seen some upstairs from Muse and Midi and Frozen Forge. They are going to be, we had a lot of questions when this first announced. They're going to be in the same styles as our current token set, so anyone who's got any already, these will just kind of follow on. The reason for doing this is it allows me and Matt to really focus, on the design team on what we do best, which is make games. So we're not token makers. We don't do these kind of things. We've already got the battle phone bags, etc. So we're just increasing a few of these licensed products to help us really focus down. These are the first two. A lot of people love metal tokens, Matt specifically. Like, this is pretty much a favourite to Matt, this one. So we hooked up with Nos Foundry. The SteamCon tokens you had in the boxes are made by them. So they're going to be bringing a range of momentum tokens, etc. as well, in metal for people to use, which is going to be quite nice. Yeah, So DTR, you've seen the trophies, hopefully you've seen. These are absolutely stunning. We were blown away when we saw these. And a lot of people have mentioned about the Rage Bust. They've seen kind of rumors on it. These guys may be doing something along those lines as well. So if you're after that kind of thing, these guys are going to be sorting you out. So they're going to come in. Most of these official licensed products are going to come in from probably the January time. So you're going to start to see them roll out then. Shadow Games.
Shadow Games. Shadow Games. DC, do you want to talk about Shadow Games or do you want me to? Yeah, go on, you talk.
Just tell them the story. Beginning at the beginning. No. Just talking about Shadow Games. So Shadow Games was the first thing that I worked on with Matt and Rich. They had this idea, and at the time I was still doing the freelance thing, contracting for various companies. And not only did it go well, it went amazingly well. We had a lot of good discussions and things went really smoothly. And what we came up with was a game that has a lot of accessibility, the type of thing you can play with any sort of gaming crowd, not just hardcore gamers, but family-style gamers or casual gamers or hardcore gamers, where it is a bluffing game rooted in the world of Guild Ball, where you've got the various folks that are working behind the scenes rather than the players themselves, in this case, out on the pitch, but trying to manipulate things and trying to establish that your guild is going to get the next star player for Guild Ball. And it's got some unique bluffing mechanics that we're really happy with, do things a little bit differently than other bluffing games out there, and that every turn you're focused on trying to identify which of your friends are lying, which are telling the truth, and figure out how to trick everyone in the end.
So Dark Souls, we announced a few weeks ago now during the back kit the Painted World of Ariamis coming in 2018. We can announce another one today. So the Tome of the Giants is coming again in 2018. So it's another one of our support basically for this product line. Like a big thing for me and Matt is that when we do a Kickstarter like Dark Souls or like Guild Ball, once the Kickstarters happen, we want to support that product for retail onwards. We're not going to constantly kickstart these kind of projects. So it's just showing our support, basically. Thank you. And we've got some new products, like outside of the board game itself, within the Dark Souls world. We can't officially announce them yet, but they are super exciting. They're probably going to land again in 2018. So our relationship with Bandai Namco is fantastic. We love working with them, and we're super happy and privileged to be able to work on such a title and produce. Hopefully, you guys have actually had a game this weekend and enjoyed it as well. So, key events. So we try and go all over the globe. You've probably seen mine and Matt's face, plus the crew's face at pretty much everything. We try as best we can. So Salute, Gen Con, Spiel. This is all happening next year again. Me and Matt, a really important part of what we do is trying to get to these events and engage with our community. We know as we get bigger, this gets harder and harder. But at the same time, it's why we are so privileged, so honored as a company is the support we have from our community. So we will always try as best we can to interact with you guys and get in front of you guys. We are a pair of gamers, and we always will be that, and we'll try and represent that as our company as well.
So one of the things that's been super cool about this weekend, and one of the biggest unknowns, was how many people were going to come to the seminar tracks and actually listen to us waffle on about what we do for a living. What you actually see in there is the result of 3 or 4 seminar tracks where we started with nothing. We came up with a random idea for a guild. We drilled down into some characters in that guild and we picked one. And then Russ and I had a quick chat, talked about what he could look like. Ordinarily we would get Doug, the concept artist, to start sketching that out for us. But Russ went diving in and started sculpting a model. Whilst that was going on, we were starting to talk about what that model could actually do. The lovely H, printed him overnight and drove up this morning with the model that we finished designing this afternoon in one of the tracks. And what we're going to do with this model, and I don't think any other company has actually done this yet, which was from scratch, design and build a model during the course of a convention. And we're also going to make this a production model which is going to be free in your goodie bags next year at SteamCon. So SteamCon next year. SteamCon's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But what would make SteamCon better? I think SteamCon twice. We're going to do a back-to-back weekend, SteamCon America, SteamCon UK, where we're going to have bigger and better stuff than we've done this year. We're going to reach out to more people next year, and we're just going to exhaust ourselves.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. So yes, location to be decided, but definitely SteamCon UK, SteamCon America, and then beyond that, who knows?
Don't commit to Asia right now.
We've been quite busy. I can't tell you too much about this, but I can tell you a little bit. I'm going to get in so much trouble with the marketing guys. So behind the scenes, we've been working on a game. I'm not even allowed to tell you the name of the game. That's how kind of up to the minute we are on this. But I can tell you a bit about the story and about the game itself at a high level. We're working on a classic fantasy game. It's a 25 to 35 model side game, so it's that big skirmish, warband style game. It's set in a classic fantasy land, except there's one difference. The gods have died, and when the gods died, their essence shattered and fell to the ground and plunged deep into the earth, and with it, they brought cataclysm and ruin to civilization. And then over the years and the millennia, the civilizations have grown back, and mankind, as I call it, but that includes orcs and humans and elves and dwarves and everything that you would expect, starts to rise up, and they start to discover these gems of horrendous power. And they discover that some people can actually absorb these gems into them, and in doing so, they become a small part of a god. And they start attracting followers, and they start gaining special abilities, and they then band together because power makes you hungry and you want more of these gems. So this is a scenario-driven war game where you are focusing on acquiring these gems as part of your objectives with your band of heroes who are looking to get to the gem before anyone else. And I'm not sure I can say any more than that at this stage. Yeah, okay.
So that was our keynote. Thank you so much for listening and coming along to SteamCon, and hopefully we've got a really good 2017 planned, and hopefully you'll all be there playing our games and enjoying SteamCon 2017. So thank you. We are going to go into the Q&A section now. Can you just do me a little favor? Anyone's got a question, can you put your hand up so I can see how many questions we're going to get roughly? Okay, that should be okay. So anyone with a question, if you go to the right side of the stairs and come around, Jamie Giblin will be on the other side, and he will be grabbing your question, and the panel will be able to answer. So if you just take yourselves, literally just take yourselves that way, it'll be easier. Yeah.
Head on over.
That way.
Head over, Gib.
Yeah, that way.
You mentioned the plastic models in the boxes with all the dials and everything. Does that mean it's no more metal?
It's a good question. So we are going to start to transition, I think. So from April next year, we're going to start to move, obviously the Farmers Guild and potentially new guilds, coming next year as well, which we haven't mentioned. are going to start to be in that material. Going into 2018, we will look at our existing range and what options we have there as well. So we really do believe in this new material, and I think it's something that we want to push forward with as a company.
You discussed something about new models for the Hunters Guild and obviously the Farmers Guild. Is it your intentions to virtually bring them all up to the same size of about 11 players each?
That's a good question, and one of the things that we talk quite a lot about internally and externally is avoiding the homogenization of guilds. So every guild needs to feel the same, and there is a very inherent risk every time we add a model to an existing guild that it's going to start treading on the toes of other models within that guild or within other guilds. So we're actually very conscious that there is a hard ceiling on each of the guilds. We're not there yet, we're a long way short of it. But at some point in time in the future, we may well have to say, well, we can't add any more models to this guild without bleeding into other areas. And at that point, we will say that guild is done, and that is how you play that guild, and we will be moving on to the next ones.
Sorry, I'm asking a second question. Would it be your intentions to actually do starter packs to include the mascot, like the Hunter set, compared to the other side?
Absolutely.
Starter sets?
Absolutely. So we are going to be looking to rebundle the products that we do into 6-man teams. So very much like the Hunters was our first foray into that. That's been a resounding success for us in terms of people who've picked that up. And we found that it's actually really appreciated by the people who buy it, that it's accessible to a full team. So we're going to start repackaging all of the existing teams into that format.
Does anybody else in the audience have some questions? If not, I'll move to some questions that came in during the stream. Go Gibbo! Okay, one of the questions was the new models shown. You mentioned that the farmers will be in plastic. Will the new models for each guild be in plastic, or will it be in metal?
So the releases up until April will be in metal. So the single models will be in metal. But as Matt said, as we go forward with like the new Farmers Guild and potentially the new guild as well, well, it is the new guild as well. We're going to be looking to do these 6-man boxes and the 4-man expansions.
Oh, Rich.
I can't say the name of them.
Oh, Rich. You weren't supposed to say that.
I didn't say what.
The
There's
new
another one
guild.
coming.
The new guild.
You can say one's coming.
I've got a mic drop moment coming up.
No, you're not.
I can't.
You can't.
Any more questions? Not what the new guild is that Rich spoiled, that I didn't spoil, Charles.
There are a couple on the Butcher Civil War, some demanding a recount, some screaming Veteranox. One of the questions was, you mentioned a new Hunters captain. Do we know who it is or what their abilities might be?
You can spoil that one a little bit.
Spoil that,
A little bit.
So... It's not Veteran Cena. Sherwin, would you like to talk a little bit about the new captain from a story point of view? Do it.
So, our new Hunters captain, I didn't know how much I can actually say about her. Really? Just let loose.
Go wild, Sherwin.
Names everything, yeah? Cool. So, the new Hunters captain is called Scather. She's basically, well, her original pitch, which is kind of fun. Can I talk about that? Yeah, sure. Oh, no, don't use any copyright.
All right, let me do this. We are inspired by all sorts of things, not just those things.
Sorry?
Go on.
Okay. So apparently I can't talk about the origin story of that one. Yeah. But yeah, so the idea is obviously with our Hunters Guild, we have the ascendance of the Sunfather over the Moon Goddess. That's really what the Hunters Guild is all about. And one of the big things that we have seen with Theron is he's champion of the Sunfather. So our new captain is the champion of the Moon Goddess.
And I believe, DC, that she's a she. She is a she. Does anyone want to talk a little bit about what she does? Go on. A little bit.
Apparently so.
She likes to build snowmen.
questions?
We've got 2 more questions in from the stream during that time. Do the PVC models need to be assembled?
No, pre-assembled.
And will the big league kits for stores and pundits be updated with cards for the new players? So new demo cards for guys who want to demo our game.
So we spent a lot of time looking at it, and now we have Kickoff. We're going to really support that product with a retail launch kit. So that's going to be basically in place for the old demo cards and that. So once the stores get every store's going to get a copy of that when they apply for us, etc. And that'll come with some instructions for the retailer to really know how to play the game and demo it to people. So we've basically amalgamated it all into one product now.
Thank you. I believe there's one more question coming in from the stream that they seem to be writing down for me. It's a question about the rookies. Are the new players shown there the rookies for the guilds?
Rookies. I knew rookies would come up.
Rookies.
We just slid that one away. Like, go on, you can answer this.
So, Ox is a rookie. So rookies is something that's still in development. We had a couple of angles that we went with rookies, and we weren't happy with them, quite frankly. So we have pushed them back out of the release schedule until we are happy with them. That is one of the jobs that we are now actively working on to find a way of making them work the way that we want them to work. So they are in progress. They aren't going to come out when we wanted them to come out, but they will come out when they're ready to come out, and not before. Sorry, you had a question?
You got any information what's going to be in the tournament kit?
In the tournament kit?
Do you want to go on, Jamie? No, you're good about you talking the abstract about the new pass and stuff that you've been working on.
So we're looking at the entire system of how we run tournaments, and we've previously had a system of sanctioning tournaments, and as the company grows and we get more successful, it's not been especially manageable for us, and it's become a bit of a problem. So we're trying to look at new ways of running our tournaments. So we're looking at packs that I believe stores can purchase. Yes, that's fair to say, thank God. So the stores can purchase basically be a tournament kit that you've seen from probably other companies that do similar things. So these will be like including prize kits for things you can give away, things that will be useful for the tournament organizer, and things that are just helpful, like little leaflets to help you sort of as a TO how to run a tournament, what kind of things you need to know. So.
Do I see a cap? So
we had an original cap, didn't we? We said like maybe 5, 6, but it keeps jumping.
We're way past that.
We're way past that. So.
I think we will continue to support Guild Ball as long as we believe that we can take it forward in a direction that's new, interesting, and fun. And the minute it feels like we're just going over the old ground is probably the bit where we'll say, actually, do you know what? This game is now done. Put a pin in it. Yeah. And I keep thinking, I bore these guys silly with my stupid analogies, but I think about all the TV series that I absolutely love, and they are the ones that actually have definitive endings. Sopranos had an ending, Breaking Bad had an ending, Lost, just went on and on, it was rubbish. So I do think that you have to, when something's finished, it's finished, and then you move on to the next thing. Into what? Hell yeah. Yeah. If we can come up with a game idea that we think that would be fun to play, we will go, not hold back.
Would you always stay in the same sort of genre as fantasy and Guild Ball era type games?
No, we literally we want to make games. We don't have a certain genre or anything like that. As long as we're confident with an idea and we think people like it, we'll push forward. So, yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, so along with making them accessible to retail stores, we'll make sure that clubs can also purchase them as well. So we'll make sure that all the pundits, etc., will be able to get them through the pundit store, so we'll have full support.
Oh, so the question was, is Veteran-Os going to be amazing or not? Yes. He will be. Veteran-Os is not a captain model. That's it.
Demoted.
We've got a question at the back, and I've had a request from the stream that if you have a question, put your hands up. I'll run a mic to you so they can hear what you're saying as well. Okay. But we've got one question at the back here.
I noticed that the new Union captain didn't have the Union logo behind it. Is that intentional?
That's interesting, Henry.
That is entirely intentional. So that symbol is the Solthesian symbol.
Hey, earlier in the create a player seminar, you said you were looking to repurpose the Icy Sponge tokens. Does that have anything to do with the snow?
Maybe.
Maybe. We've got thousands of them. Thousands.
How's the plan now?
Question over here. I'll come round.
Oh, good running, Jamie.
Well done.
All right,
Would
mate.
you care? It's all right. I'll
You
keep
all
it
right?
clean.
All right.
I've only had one beer.
I can never tell. Orange shirt.
All right. No, you put me off my mark now. Oh yeah.
It's a deliberate tactic. I'm still doing it.
That's why. That's the only reason you beat me the other day. This Lethean thing that I can't enunciate very well. Do you care to elaborate any more on exactly what that is, how it is in the Guild Ball world?
You can't, no.
I can't do that. I can't do that. Reread the fluff. The clues are in the fluff.
That's fair, yeah. Nothing else. It is not gonna go on a podcast like the Farmers Guild is gonna happen. It's not happening again.
Yes, Matt. So the question was, with the new fantasy game, is it going to be in the Guild? Did we think about putting it in the Guild Ball world rather than its own world? Yes, we did, absolutely. Guild Ball world is a wonderfully rich world. I was chatting to a great guy earlier about, his enthusiasm for writing novels in the world, exploring the world a lot more and expanding on it. But we think that there's room in our locker for more than one world, and there's certainly stories that we want to tell that actually wouldn't work in the Guild Ball world, that we want to use a brand new world to explore those stories in.
So the question is, would we make anything bigger in the Guild Ball world? It's something me and Matt talked about. We want to see where the Guild Ball world can go. Right now, our focus is obviously Guild Ball and making sure that really kind of grows and succeeds, especially with products like Kickoff. As we go forward. But we definitely have some ideas, and we've talked in the background. So.
We have any questions over here?
Hey guys, I have a million questions, but I know you can't answer most of them. But I want to hear more about this new game. So how about give us some tidbits that you can give us, because it was very vague, and I'm excited.
What can I say? No, I know. So it's no secret that I play League of Legends. We've all heard that, right? And it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of a lot of aspects of design of League of Legends in terms of team composition, roles within the team, and how that translates into gameplay, and how it translates into selection of team and everything like that. It's also no secret that with Guild Ball, actually, you guys don't get to spend a huge amount of time list building and chatting about the game, because the lists are actually, it almost doesn't matter which model you bring. If we've done our job right, all the models are balanced and it's down to personal choice. So it's very difficult for you to have those heated arguments about, well, this model sucks and this model's great, but no, I disagree. So we actually enjoy that list building kind of discussion. So one of the things that will be an aspect of this game is this building your team, or I shouldn't say team, I'm still in Guild Ball mode, building your warband, building your force from various roles and various, each of the gems has a different power, and they bring different things, and some work with others and some don't work with others, so you've got lots and lots of layers for actually putting your forces together.
Yeah.
Am I done?
Yeah, you've done that.
Okay, we had another question in from the stream.
Just one more thing.
We've had another question in from the stream. Could the design team touch on the philosophy for the Season 3 reboots?
Sorry?
We didn't
It was,
get that one.
could the design team touch on the philosophy for the Season 3 reboot? Why did some guilds see lots of changes and some not so much?
Oh, that's a good one. Who wants to go with that one? Yeah.
The simple answer to that is that not every guild needed the same amount of changes. We looked across every model individually, every model within the context of its own team, the context of all the different combinations of other players they can play with. We judged each model, each ability on its own merits, as well as within those contexts. So not every team needed the same level of changes. It's a simple answer, really.
Question over here.
Hi there. Jack wanted to ask this, but he's too shy to. So, the new game, which you're not allowed to talk about, are you anticipating a similar competitive scene? Is that the thing you're aiming for,
Yes.
or more fluff oriented?
Yeah, no, it's gonna. I'm gonna start spoiling stuff now. We're good.
yes.
Yes, but we also have a high focus on campaign as well.
A lot of what Rich is alluding to is the ability to start small and grow it over time and get that sense of campaign as you're expanding your force and you're gathering more of these gems.
Question over here.
That was all right.
I'm just watching you. Make sure.
Right. I'll distract him with a new team.
You mentioned about novels. Yes. Is that going to be something in the future that's going to not only span Guild Ball, but maybe this new game?
Yeah, we've actually had a bunch of discussions about this. Certainly Sherwin and I have talked extensively about it. So there's certainly a desire for us to take all of the fluff that we've put together so far, and due to the vagaries of editing and page limitation, we've had to cut some stuff out or slightly adjust the flow of the story, and that's meant that some of the connective tissue that was written into the story has kind of been lost a little bit along the way. So we'd almost like to do a redux of and bring everything up to date. We've talked about how we can release it, whether it's an ebook or a physical book. I'm actually a huge fan of that being more of a charity product, so we actually re-release it, all compiled, re-edited, and all the proceeds go to a charity. So I think that's the kind of direction that we're going to go in. And then beyond that, I know Sherwin's got 100 books inside of him that he wants to write. So we just need to free him up and let him go at it. So I think it's something that will happen. I find the Guild Ball universe and the characters that we've created so compelling and so easy for us to come up with cool stories and narratives for, that I just think the stories that we can write will be just mind-blowingly good. So.
Well, that's almost what I was going to do. You've put me off now. You really have put me off. We got.
Oh, go on! I'll tell you what they are.
Imagine. So if we go back, what if Philip had won? Who do we get? Do we ever get to find out what that model would have been if Philip had won? If that
like a poker player, you've got to pay to see, and you guys chose brisket.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that.
The war should continue.
Any more questions? Hands in the air. I'll go down that end first.
The so-called free gift next year model, will that be assigned to a guild to be played?
It may be the SteamCon model. It will be assigned to a guild. We'll obviously the work we've done over the last few days. We'll now take that internally and look at actually producing that card and actually playtesting it and getting it through the cycle, because obviously it takes quite a while to do that. But at that stage, it will be assigned to some sort of guild. The actual, who he plays for, how it's going to interact with the world, is it going to be tournament legal, etc. We'll define all that over the year, basically.
Some questions from the stream. Is there going to be a Hunter's Chibi pin? And was there a conscious effort in Season 3 to support own guilds and not union?
Okay, so I'll answer first, we can do the second. So Chibi pins, I think they're kind of a success. So everyone seems to really like them. So we're definitely going to do a Season 2 lot of Chibi pins with their mascots. That's definitely coming. And next year at SteamCon, we'll make sure we've got some exclusive pins and shows throughout the year, etc. So we're going to get more pins because we think they're wicked. So,
what was
And the other one was there a conscious effort to support own guilds, not union, in Season 3?
Yes, absolutely. We are huge fans of people actually playing the guilds that their captain comes from, rather than picking a captain, a mascot, and 3 union players. We just think it promotes diversity in the list that you play against, and it's just healthy for the game, and it's a lot more fun. Yo. So the question was, are we going to do any more events like the Butcher Civil War? 100% yes. We're blown away by how engaged everyone's been with it, how much fun everyone seems to have had with it. So yeah, so we want to go more and further. So the games that you guys play, you actually feel like they are affecting the narrative and the path that the game is taking. So we're going to do tons of them.
Question over here.
Yo.
So, obviously with the Farmers, you released Tater to be played in Big League Play to give people a flavour.
Yep.
Are we expecting the same sort of things with the other guild, potentially, and future guilds? And have you got any ideas on timescales for those?
Nicely done, Steve.
What colour are the
Nicely
gems?
done. You can in the best style that you are accustomed to, I'm going to respond with a question. Do you think Tater was a success? Did you enjoy Tater being pre-released and give you a sense of who the Farmers were?
Yeah.
If you guys like it, then we'll do it again.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, we won't do it.
Look forward to Gen Con.
Gen Con, baby.
Question over here.
Yep.
So the new Union captain, she had very similar features to Egret. Any comment?
To who?
To Egret from the Hunters.
To Egret, did she now? I don't want to spoil the story. I could tell you, but then you would both like me and hate me at the same time, which is a bit like the design team feel about me.
A question at the back here.
Got a writing question from our community. The new game, what size is it going to be played on? So 3x3 works very well. Are we going bigger, staying that size?
We can't say that.
We definitely can't talk about that. Can we? No, we can't.
No, we can't.
No.
We can't. Like.
Okay.
Question in the centre
Sorry,
here.
Ed.
In terms of customization, have you ever thought about having the lists where you choose from your guild? So now we've got Season 2 and Season 3, would there be a chance to have like a flashback?
Yes, so it's definitely something that Rich and I talked about very early on, was as the game progresses, being able to have much more, like legacy style games, or, we're playing in Season 1 and Season 1 only, or Season 3 only, so all those models that have died are not valid for that particular guild, for that particular tournament. So as the game progresses and the depth of the history opens up to us, then we'll have much more opportunity to do tournament packs to support that.
It's quite interesting.
It's quite good.
You got a job.
I'm glad you didn't have a mic. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, it's
I've
good.
got a great idea, guys. Someone write that down.
I've got a question in from the stream again. It says, will Season 3 models be released steadily throughout the year before Season 4, not all at the end like in Season 3?
Yes. So
Season 2, sorry.
We've, we took a lot of feedback. We know in the November, from kind of Gen Con onwards, Season 2, that the staggered release was really affecting people and their enjoyment.
Feedback.
Facebook generally, yeah. But no, we listen to our community. So we're making sure that we're trying to increase the amount of releases per month, and we're also going to make sure that with this new style, with the 6-man and the 4-man expansions, that we're going to try and do blocks of releases to have it not all just come like staggered out, basically.
One of the things that we want to achieve with SteamCon is to make it the date in the calendar for Steamforged Games, and so to a certain degree we had to weather the storm a little bit as we, Season 2 is slightly shorter than we originally planned it to be. Obviously we're releasing Season 3 here. The main book's going to come out in April, but we want to get into that new cycle of running from SteamCon to SteamCon and making this a really important event for us as a company and for the games we make.
Question over here.
Hi lads, it's Harry.
Yo.
Sorry, I do talk really fast. when it comes to like,
say it again.
Bryce can translate. It's fine.
There's somebody, yeah. Hi. When it comes to the union players in guilds, etc., you've always got certain players can only play for certain guilds. When it comes to like new seasons, things like that, have you ever thought about doing like a revolving? I'm trying to think like a revolving door thing where you've got set ones that can work one season, next season they change, next season they change, to give a bit of variety in certain guilds when you cannot get a hold of certain models.
So that's the sort of thing that can only really come about once we get a depth of rosters available to us in models. But in terms of messing up the format or mixing up the format, we're starting to approach that critical mass where we can start doing things like that and start having a lot of fun with it. So, expect to see, tying in with what we were talking about earlier about those kind of campaign stories, we can actually start running seasonal things, or maybe there's a small tournament that happens somewhere in the world, and that will tie in with, for this 3-month period only, Minx doesn't play for the Butchers, for example. So
part of the reason we split the union onto their separate cards in season 3 is to give us some of that flexibility as well.
Question here.
Ahoy hoy.
Ahoy hoy.
Hey.
Ahoy hoy.
So you're talking about next SteamCon. So does that mean we're expecting season 4 to drop next SteamCon? #
Yes.
lives. Woo. Yes. Awesome.
Pretty much.
Yeah, simple as that. Yeah. We'll do the similar thing where we'll be having pre-release product for season 4 at SteamCon next year, and then the digital files will go out on the Monday after usually.
All good? Question over here?
Yeah. So maybe on accident you talked about the 4-man expansions 2 times right now. So will the releases for the guilds be 6-man starter boxes and 4-man expansions?
That's definitely one of the ideas that's on the whiteboard in terms of how we could release those out to people. There's lots of advantages to that. There's some disadvantages that we need to work our way through. But narratively, we can tell a lot more compelling stories when there's 4 new models appearing. Probably behind a captain or a veteran player. It's a lot more interesting, but obviously it removes that kind of granularity a little bit. So that's still TBD, but it's definitely an idea on the top of the whiteboard.
So this was SteamCon 2016. Any date on 2017? Will it be around Black Friday again?
Not Thanksgiving.
No, not the US one especially. We'll make sure that one isn't, because that'll upset. Yeah, if it is. We're already in claps for that one.
Thank you to all the American wives who let you,
thank
your
you
other
for
halves
any
come out and play
Americans,
games.
yeah, it's appreciated. We'll look to, obviously, I think the November time's a great window, so we'll make sure that happens to give the year cycle like we're talking about, but we'll make sure that the events are properly staggered just to make sure they don't clash, basically.
Sorry, I'm asking another question again.
You're all right.
With the release of Granite and a couple of others that you're doing on the 20th of January next year, when can we see the actual 3 hunters? This guild is really short of players, man. Especially now you've reduced the union.
March. When are they in?
You're gonna start to see something by March. I'm going to get shot by Marcus now. Yeah. March.
Very early next year. I mean, we obviously recognise that the hunters at the moment only have access to 1 captain, and that's something we want to address and expand their roster out. So they are high priority in terms of the release schedule.
Okay, one in from the stream.
Hold on a second, Jay. Hold on.
I do want to point out, though, that we won't be able to give every single guild the exact same number of models, because it just won't fit the release cycle. There will be times that a new guild has less than somebody else, or that some guild possibly changes in terms of how we're using them at the point in time. So if your guild is fun, or if you play lots of guilds and they're all fun, awesome. But they won't all always have the same number of players.
Okay, one from the stream was, will the World Championships have influence to the future fluff?
Yes.
Ooh.
100%.
Come down here.
5 morticians. It might be the death of Obulus. Yo.
Me again.
Hello.
Matt asked, are you going to kill Salt? But I want to ask, what can you spoil about Veteran Ox, like his play style? Because you
What can I
mentioned
spoil
the
about
play
him?
style of the other two models.
I could do a little bit, right? So
You're
I'm going to anyway.
I don't think anyone can stop you, Matt, to be honest.
So you saw in the artwork that Ox is still manacled, and he has a lot of chains, and those chains sort of help him in what he's doing. And he gets tankier the more involved in the fight he is.
Okay, we've had quite a lot of questions.
Players that are around him making him tanky. Just to double check that was definitely in the art.
Yeah,
I'm making this up as I go along. It's amazing.
You let him talk on that one. That's not me.
Okay, we've had quite a lot of questions, and the room is getting quite warm. So I'm going to have 3 more. I've seen 1 hand up here. I'll get 2 more hands up.
Apparently, I'm in trouble.
I will protect you.
Hey, once you're late, you're late.
Do you see how I throw my voice across the room?
It's pretty good.
It's brilliant. I've been asked to ask through the web of social media, the Season 3 hardback rulebook, will that be dropping at Salute, sort of that sort of time?
It's going to come out in the March-April window. So we're
the
just
same sort of window as Season 2, so we'll see it either.
yes, Adepticon/Salute time is when we're looking to release that product. Yeah.
So, can I keep the microphone? Oh, but I like it.
Me too.
I'm interested. I think all the guilds are awesome, but everyone has sort of like a favourite guild. So I'm just interested what all your guys there, what your favourite guilds
That's
are.
a good question. Let's start with Jamie, Morticians.
Hunters.
Engineers.
So this is going to sound like a bit of a cop-out, but I actually grew up in a farm and my dad is a farmer, so farmers, obviously.
He said farmers.
I'm also going to cheat, and I'm going to say 2. Brewers game-wise, because, well, never mind, I'm not going to be too long. And then Farmers, because that was the first team that I was heavily involved in, so they're always going to be special to me.
One I can't talk about, and Midas.
Fisherman. It was the first kind of one of the first 2 teams that me and Matt designed. So it was kind of representing a lot of things that I liked in wargaming at the time.
And I'm going to go with Brisket. Come on, butchers. Time is back. Ox. Ox it.
Our final question for tonight.
51.49.
Will the big league be continuing getting support, like with the new plot deck, a special plot deck for the big league?
How do you mean?
The big league in the season 2, will it continue to get support?
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We're quite proud of the campaign system that the big league represents, and we've certainly seen an awful lot of clubs around the world picking it up and playing with it and having a lot of fun with it. So it's definitely a product that we want to continue to support. Whether we do it as a physical product, or maybe that'll go to pure digital and you guys can just download brand new campaign, plots and favors and things like that. Who knows? But yeah, there'll be more stuff coming out for the big leagues.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.